What's up guys, Justin Greenwald here with 65drums.com, and today I'm talking about the Roland Handsonic HPD-20. Roland really has a way with names, don't they? This is a hand percussion electronic pad. This is kind of an oddball video for me to make because I usually don't make videos about electronic hand percussion. But I got to play this recently and I thought I'd make a video about it. I'll actually be playing some examples of me playing it, some audio of that later on in the video, so be sure to watch to the end for that. But let me just explain why you might want to buy a pad like this in the first place. Most of you guys don't know this, but I started off as a hand percussion player. Before I ever got a drum set, I was a djembe person. I would actually play out with my band with a djembe, this exact djembe. And the problem with playing with one of these is, even though you're getting a lot of sounds out of a djembe, depending on how you hit it with what part of your hand and how far or close it is to the ground, you get a lot of tonal shifts there. The problem is you're still limited a lot. And if you want to go all in on hand percussion like some of these guys and get like 3 congos, which are all this tall, and get some bongos and then get a couple of djembes of different sizes and then get some chimes and blah blah blah, it expands forever. And it ends up taking almost as much space as an acoustic drum set. I'm not even kidding. If you go down that road, you can keep buying and expanding it to get all the sounds you want, and it goes on forever. And that's one reason to buy the Roland Handsonic pad, because you get so many sounds in one small package. And the other side to it is that even though it's great to play an acoustic thing like this, you get the dynamics of this are so great and it's so fun to play. The problem is you will dry out your hands and or cause them to bleed. This happens quite frequently, actually. I have a friend that has a box drum, the kind that you sit on and you play like that. He keeps band-aids inside the hole in the drum so he can whip it out and fix his hand in the middle of a set or at the end of a set. Bleeding hands from playing a hand drum are a common thing, especially if you are not mic'd. If you have a mic'd hand drum and you can play quieter, then great. But if you got to project for the entire room, you'll find yourself playing hard, and if you don't have lotion with you, you can get really dry hands, and hitting the edge hurts the hands as well. I'm saying all this because some of those negatives go away when you play an electronic hand percussion pad. You're hitting a rubber head instead of hitting an acoustic head right here. It's got softer edges. It's not going to make your hands bleed. Maybe keep some extra lotion with you, but your hands are not going to be taking so much of a beating like you do when you play acoustic hand percussion pads. So let me go into the specifics of this product made by Roland, the Handsonic HPD-20. You have this rubber pad, and it's interesting. It's more gummy than most of Roland's pads they'll have on their V-drum sets, and it feels pretty good. Not amazing or anything, but it does the job fairly well. And it's not just one pad. As you can see, it's split up into zones. You'll have a couple of large zones near the front of the pad where your hands naturally rest, and then you'll have a series of smaller zones near the top edge. And you can assign a sound to each one of those zones. It is really, really awesome, because what if you want a djembe sound on one side, and then you want a kick drum sound over here, and then some chimes over here, and then a conga over here? You can do all of that. This thing is extremely powerful, and there are so many sounds within this drum. You can change the pitch of all of that in real time with a multi-purpose knob that's on the side. So you can play with one hand and then tune it down or tune it up, whatever you want to do. And this is pressure sensitive. So, with like a djembe, you can hold down right here and get a muted sound. Or you can just play with two hands and get an open sound. That happens with this pad as well because it's pressure sensitive. It knows that you want to choke that sound. And this also comes in handy with what is called the roll feature. If you enable the roll feature on a zone or a pad, whatever, when you press on the pad, it won't just make one sound. It will keep going over and over again. It will roll. And the harder you press into the pad, the faster it will roll. So that's what it sounds like. It is really, really fun. And it's also fun because you got to time it, because you got to remember how hard to press to get it to go to a certain speed so you can go in and then finish out the fill, whatever it is you're playing with. So yeah, it is really, really fun to play. Another great feature is called the D-beam. This is basically a laser that it's at the front of the pad. It's an invisible beam. And when you put your hand over it, it breaks the beam. And it can tell how close to the pad you're holding your hand over the D-beam. So you can go like this. And what happens is you can select it as like a sound. I believe you can have it as like wind chimes if you want, or you can have it as a filter. So let's say you wanted like a phaser type filter and you're playing with one hand, and then you go like this and adjust the filter in real time to affect the sound of your other hand that's playing the drum. Another great thing is that you can do chains. This is something that sounds a little more mundane, but it is really, really useful. I learned about chains when I bought my Roland T30K drum set. A chain is a group of kits. So let's say in this first song in the concert you're going to play tomorrow, you need to have the sounds from pad 1, pad 5, and pad 50. Are you going to have time in the middle of that one song to scroll between pad 5 and pad 50? You won't have that time. It'll take you like 30 seconds or whatever. And if you're in a hurry, you'll overshoot it and go to pad 51 by accident. So having a chain is selecting each one of those things, and now you only have 3 kits to scroll through. Kit 1, Kit 5, Kit 50. And then you can have multiple chains. So you can have one chain for the first song in your gig, one chain for the second song in your gig, and have different kits in each one of those chains. It is really, really useful, and I've actually used chains on my drum set, and it is great. It becomes an essential if you want to play live or even record with multiple different drums if you're using the internal sounds of the pad. I really, really like that. Also, you have 2 additional inputs. So you can actually plug in a kick drum to this thing and a hi-hat or a snare. It is really, really versatile. And since it's made by Roland, it will work probably with any Roland pad that they sell, which is great if you already own like a Roland drum set. This is also a Midi device, so you can assign Midi notes to every single zone, and it's really awesome. You can plug it into your laptop, run it in your DAW. It's awesome like that. But another great feature that a lot of people will start to appreciate is the fact that you can import wave samples, 16-bit wave samples. So basically, this is expandable forever now. You just throw whatever wave file you want to play on the pad onto a thumb drive, stick it in the back, and you're good to go. Let's say you wanted to play a series of chords as a loop on your keyboard. You can record that and throw it on a thumb drive, plug it into the back of your hand sonic, and then you'll assign it to a pad. When you hit that, the series of chords will play, and then you can play to yourself playing on the keyboard. And this is great if you're like a DJ or something. That would really, really come in handy. Or let's say you wanted to record yourself hitting your acoustic djembe and then throw that on a wave file and assign it to one of the pads. You could do that. I don't know if these are one-shot or layers, but it's still really useful either way. Okay, so I've been singing the praises of this pad for a long, long time. Now, what are the negatives to this thing? Well, the first one that jumps right at you and smacks you in the face is that this is $900. That's $100 away from buying a full-fledged Roland TD11 drum set. But for people that are really, really into hand percussion and they were going to spend $500 or $600 on acoustic stuff anyway, you know what? This could work for them. So these things do last a long time, and buying it used can save you a lot of money if you want to go down that road, because $900 will probably be too much for a lot of people. Now, I don't want to tell you about this pad without letting you know of your other options. You can also buy an electronic hand percussion pad made by Korg. It's the Wave Drum Global Edition. If you want to go buy a Korg Wave Drum, buy the Global Edition. It's their newest edition. It's better than the other stuff that they've released, and it also has good sounds. This thing costs $600, but it is not as versatile as this Roland product. Although it has hundreds of sounds, it doesn't have all kinds of different zones like the Roland product does. It uses, I believe it uses an acoustic drum head, but you can play it with sticks, with brushes, with hands. The rim around it, which is made of metal, you can trigger different sounds with those, so that's great as well. But I do hear it is hard to program, and overall it does not have MIDI. It just isn't quite as powerful as the Roland Hansonic, but it does cost less money. So overall, this is an excellent product made by Roland. It's probably the best electronic hand drum out there, but it's still very, very expensive. That's why I do recommend you try to go find it used. Probably save a couple of $100 that way. And again, go look at the Korg Wave Drum Global Edition and have them go head to head, see which one is better for you, because they are kind of different products, but they serve the same purpose and they both do a great job. I hope that video helped you out. I will see you guys next Sunday. If you like electronic drums, I make a new video about that every single week, so subscribe for notifications for that, and also follow me on Facebook, 65 Drums. See you guys next week.